Hello there, welcome. I'm beckoning you into the Happy Career Hub corner. So when I invite you into this little corner of my world, it's because I want to have a little chat. I want to get a little bit serious about certain things going on in the career space. And today I want to talk about people asking for what they want. So often when I work with clients, they come to me and they kind of have this negative viewpoint and say things like, I don't ever get what I want, other people get what they want, but I never seem to get what I want. When we dig a little deeper, and we could be talking about, not getting the job that they want, not getting the promotion they want, or being able to negotiate for a better salary or get some great perks, like flexible working arrangements, whatever, right? And they believe that, everyone else might get it, but they don't get it. Now, often when I dig through some questions with them, I discover that they haven't, first of all, bothered to ask. They kind of expect the boss, manager to know that they're good at what they're doing and therefore should be given a shot at a promotion, for example. Now, if you aren't going to, first of all, ask, how is someone even going to know that you're interested? So that's one thing to consider first. Are you brave enough to ask? Second thing to consider is, how are you asking? Are you asking in an empowered way? Are you negotiating, in other words? Because negotiation is fundamentally, in its simplest form, it's a two-way conversation where you get to ask for what you want, but you also get to give something to the other person, right? Negotiation is never about only one person getting what they want, only one party getting what they want. It has to be a two-way street. And so first of all, as I said, you have to pluck up the courage to ask so the person knows that you're interested. And second of all, you've got to ask in the right way. I'm going to demonstrate with a little story. So when I was on maternity leave over 20 years ago, that was at the rock bottom of my life and I was starting over again. Even though there were money challenges and I was paying off debt, I did not want to come back off maternity leave too early because I didn't want to miss the milestones of my infant child. That meant a lot to me. Being a present mother, being a present mummy, being there for her meant a lot to me. So even though I was really struggling, I didn't want to come off maternity leave early, but I was approached by a manager, not my actual boss, a different manager. My boss had recommended me to this manager because there's a couple of projects in trouble and he said, she's the person to help you get it back on track. He said the only catch with her is she's on maternity leave right now and she's only about 4 to 5 months into her maternity leave. The other manager decided he was going to take a shot, rang me anyway, we had a conversation. And it's interesting, I immediately saw an opportunity. I saw that I could negotiate. He wanted me to consider coming off maternity leave early. And I suddenly realized, hang on a minute, there's something that I want. What I wanted was to be able to work 1 day a week in the office, have all my meetings on that one day, and then do the rest of it from home. Now, this is obviously in a time when it wasn't fashionable or even considered. Remote working, all of that was not really a twinkle in anybody's eye at that stage. So, but I asked. I decided, well, here's where a negotiation can happen. I can ask something of him. I know he already wants something of me, which is to come off maternity leave early. But I also didn't want to kind of have him feel like I was pushing for something because I knew that he wanted me to come back early. So what I did was I offered him some extra support time. And what I mean by that is that, my daughter, I was fortunate enough that I had a baby who slept through the night from 6 weeks onwards. I mean, how lucky could I get? But, I believe the gods were shining on me. They gave me what I needed as a single mom. So I had a baby who slept through the night from 6 weeks onwards, and she would usually go down at 6 o'clock at night, which means I had time in the evening to support. And I offered him that. I said, I can offer you a couple of nights of extra hours support especially for some of the, the time zone differences, because part of the project was being run from overseas as well, from Asia. So, they were a couple of hours behind us, and I said, I can offer that extra support. We had backward and forward conversations, and that's what negotiation is all about. It's a back and forth conversation, trying to work out the best deal that suits both parties. Negotiation has to suit both parties. One party can't get one over on the other party, so to speak. One party can't be the only party benefiting. Otherwise, it's no longer negotiation. And it leaves a sour taste in people's mouth. So that's the art of negotiation. To get what you want, you need to get really good at the art of negotiation. Meaning, asking for what you want, but also offering something to the other person in return. That's what it's all about, isn't it? And so in the end, I was able to go into the office. We agreed I would go into the office 1 day a week, work the rest of the time from home. But I also supported on a couple of nights, evenings, gave extra and extended support. It was a win-win situation for us. And the thing is, what happened was that it built incredible trust between me and this new manager. The same kind of trust that I had with my previous manager, who had recommended this other guy to, recommended that he follow me up and try and get me off maternity leave early. And that's kind of how that really important relationship runway started for me with that particular manager, and then other managers following that. So you can get what you want. This is what I'm trying to say. The point is that first of all, have the courage to ask. Ask yourself the question, have I really asked for what I want? And have I really asked in an empowered way? Have I really negotiated the terms, given someone what they want, and then asked for what I want as well, so that both parties end up winning? If you're going to have longevity in your career, in your life, in your lifestyle, and getting really good at the art of negotiation is going to be super important. Before we leave the Happy Career Hub little corner where we've had our serious little chat, I want to encourage you to never give up. Never give up. You can have what you want. Just be courageous enough to ask for it and to negotiate for it. As always, wishing you a happy day. And reach out if you have any questions or you need any guidance or assistance. I look forward to helping you.